Hey there, Al Perhacs. Hey there, Al Perhacs, author, creator, visionary behind the Mind Force method of high performance, esoteric training and mentoring. And today is a live stream. This is my first live stream, which is pretty amazing because I've been online since 2001. I've been making YouTube videos since whenever it started. I've got a lot of videos out there, and yet I've never done a live stream. So everything's live. You can't retake it. It's here. It's, of course, if I don't like it, I probably will stop recording. But I want to make sure that you're going to get 100% of the value that is required. And really what this is about is this is really my honest advice to someone who wants more power. And that was the question that was asked to me on a coaching session. And I said, I'm going to give you my honest advice on what it's going to take if you want more power. And I think I'm going to look to do these lives every week. So if you want to send me your questions ahead of time, and I think there's a way that I could answer your questions right here in the live. Although I'm not seeing the chat box. I'll have to find that situation and make that work. But anyway, let's get right into it. I don't like wasting any time. And actually, we're a little ahead of schedule, which is all right by me. And that is, here's the big thing. Money. I want you to write this one down. This is I'm going to give you a lot of write down stuff. Money doesn't create power. Power creates money. Right? Money doesn't create power. Power creates money. And so I'm starting off with that because I want you to think about that, because it's not really, it has nothing to do really with money. You can put anything as a substitute of the power, right? Confidence doesn't create power. Power creates confidence, right? And we're going to talk about how to get that power. And I'm going to talk about it from a couple different standpoints. But the first thing that I want to talk about from power perspective is understanding authority power. What is authority power and what does that mean, right? So some of you watching this, you want more power. Some of you already have it. You don't want to lose it. You want to maintain it. You want to incrementally increase that power, right? But there's something called authority. And authority is something that is like, hey, you get pulled over by the police. They're an authority figure at that time. And they have the power. They have authority power. And so when you get pulled over by the police, you put your hands on the steering wheel and you give them your wallet, and you're very, you try to be as submissive as possible. Nobody wants to be submissive ever. But if you're going to be submissive, that's the time to be submissive. Now, there's some people that don't want to be submissive to police officers. They want to cause friction, and they want to yell, they want to curse, they want to say things that cause them to be in more trouble, and in some instances, possibly hurt, right? So you've got to understand this authority power. It's a morphing thing. Like, for instance, if you saw that same police officer, he doesn't have his car, he doesn't have his badge, doesn't have his belt, his uniform, his gun, and everything like that. He's a normal human being. He no longer has that power, right? He doesn't. He's your next door neighbor, whatever. But I want you to understand this because it's also from the concept of being, let's say, a manager, a boss, CEO, president of a company. You've got that authority power. The question is, do you really have it? Because power is something, I always say that power is something that you can grab, but sometimes if you don't have the right leadership skills, you grab the power, it falls through your fingertips because you don't know how to manage it. And we're going to talk a little bit about managing the power. We're going to talk about control. We're going to talk about love, believe it or not. But you have to understand authority power. And I want you to think about it from the perspective of the police officer. I want you to think of it from the perspective of somebody that is in a power position, because you're going to want to see how you create power in different places. For instance, you have power over your children to some extent, right? Because you're the authority figure. You should be, right? And to some extent with friends and so forth. So I want you to think about that, though. It comes down to self-belief and confidence, right? The role of self-belief in gaining power is extremely important, because you have to have it in your mind that you're already powerful. Like I said, you had this power concept, and I've been teaching these energy concepts for years, over 20 years, 25 years probably. Been doing it close to 30 years. It'll be 30 years in the fall. Been doing the martial arts longer than that. But see, some people have power in some areas, but not in others, right? Some people have money power, but they have super weak relationships. And I coach people like that. They got a lot of money. I mean, millions maybe. And yet they can't hold relationships. They can't gain new relationships. They have a hard time dating or marriage, kids. The relationships are terrible. And to them, that's like an important thing, but they can't do it, but they can make money all day long. Then you got somebody that, let's say, has great relationships, but they don't have that other status, that other authority power. And then you got some people maybe have great body power. They look fantastic. Six-pack abs, great shape, but they're not making any money. Now, it can morph back and forth between all those things. I'm just using these examples because I want you to think. These sessions are about you thinking. I want you to look at these sessions as if you and I are sitting in my office or in your office or somewhere neutral, and we're talking about concepts that are going to allow you to shift from where you are to where you want to be. And a lot of it comes down to self-belief and confidence. And being able to pull your powerful concepts from one area of your life to another. You understand that? So you might be really powerful in sports, but you lack confidence in other areas. You could lack confidence with relationships, lack confidence even in money. You could lack confidence in, many other areas, right? In actual being in control of other areas of your life. It's very real, very real. And so there are techniques to build self-confidence. Obviously, in this short video, I don't have time to go through all of them, but really what it comes down to, and again, thinking about this, is asking yourself the question, what could I do to build self-confidence? Right? What could I do to build self-confidence? Actually, you could Google it. You could chat GBT it, and it's going to give you concepts that you can immediately use, right? So you don't really need everything from me. I want you to think, what can I do to be more confident? Most people could answer that question. There's power. How about influence? Influence is a power. How to build influence and credibility in your field. You build it by networking and relationship building so that you build this influence where people see you as the go-to. It's interesting that I was coaching with a CEO a number of years ago, and he had the power. He had the authority. He was the CEO of the company. He was appointed, though. He wasn't like he started the company. And as we started coaching and talking, he finally said, I feel like a phony because I don't feel like I really know what I'm doing. Now, this guy, trust me, looked like a CEO, 6 feet tall or more, handsome, had all of his hair, 50s, mid-50s, something like that. Spoke real well. He was affable. He was funny, humorous, but he really didn't know what he was doing. He did not know the pieces that were going to get the company to where it needed to go. He was a total phony. So I said, what you need to do is you need to increase the skill set of what that CEO is. And we started working on some things to create that power. You understand? You can do the same thing. That's why I always talk about having the right skill sets. Now, this guy was the CEO, and you would think he would already know, but he didn't know. He had been going through companies as president, CEO for years. And he finally, by working with a coach and a mentor, admitted, hey, I don't really know what I'm doing. And maybe that's why he was jumping from company to company. Now he's with a totally new company, but he didn't really know what he was doing. But he had to build the skill set to kind of be able to fit into that mold of power. That's what you have to do. And that's by building that influence. So I want you to, again, think about that. You also have this resilience and adaptability. So, think of it from this perspective. Let's say you're starting here, and as you're building up this power, right? You're building up this power, and you're getting a certain level of whatever that looks like. You might dip a little bit, and then you go up a little bit, and you might dip and you go up. But there could be a situation where all of a sudden your power drops. I mean, it just like a lead balloon drops. Perfect example of this is Mike Tyson. One of the greatest boxers of all time, could have been probably designated as the greatest boxer of all time if he hadn't had a couple issues going to jail and losing his power and his confidence in the ring, and his career went down. Now it's coming back up because of him changing his attitude and changing and building a different skill set, right? It's not a fighting skill set so much as it is an entertainer skill set. So he's getting back up there. But some people end up going into the valley and they never come back out. And that really comes down to being resilient and adaptable to what's going on in the situation. We all have ups and downs. Very rarely do you see somebody take a trajectory that goes straight to the top. You have to be adaptable in maintaining the power and realizing that sometimes the circumstances are not your fault, right? They usually happen to be in these circumstances, and it really wasn't a situation for you. But you drop your confidence level, and it hurts. So what I want to give you, though, is I want to give you some power tools. You guys like power tools? You want some power tools? Power tools are these things that you can use to create this power, create this confidence, create this influence, right? And for some of you, it's going to be maybe harder to do. One influence is called wrapping your package. This is your package, see? Nice suit, coat, nice shirt, right? That's part of the confidence. That's part of the power. This exudes power. At least in my mind, it does. Maybe in yours, it doesn't. Maybe you're looking at it saying, I would never want to look like that. However, I can tell you this one thing is that whenever I go on, when I used to go on and still go on business meetings, I always wear a suit. Very rarely do I wear a tie, but I always wear a nice shirt and a suit. Because I know that in any circumstance that I'm in, guess what? I'm always going to maintain my power and authority. Because I'm dressed well. If I went in a t-shirt and jeans, I'm not saying that I couldn't get away with it. But somebody that comes in a suit might have a little bit more of that power. Don't discount that. And again, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't have power and wear a t-shirt, because there's plenty of high performance guys and women that are very much so like that. But what I'm saying is, as you're gaining your power, you want to use power tools. This is a power tool. A Rolex watch is a power tool. Now, obviously, it's not a cheap thing, but maybe there's another type of watch that gives you power. Believe me, I always would find a nice watch, years ago, and that would be my power watch, right? I've got this ring here, which is a very nice ring that my wife bought me. And it's a power tool. Love it. I get compliments on it all the time. It could be a nice car, Mercedes-Benz, BMW. Could be a nice house. Could be money in the bank. Money in the bank gives you power of confidence, knowing that you have some go-to money, right? And body by design. You've got a great looking body. You're in great health. That gives you a power connection. I want you to think about how you can create your own power tools where you're at, right? So obviously, if you're CEO, president of a company, you earn probably good income, so you have some power tools. I can assure you that these things work, and they work well if you tap them into what you're doing with regards to this power. I'll give you a good example. Years ago, I was not in a good place financially, career-wise, client-wise. We had just come out of the worst real estate market ever. That was 2008, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. And I owned real estate magazines. And so I exited that business, and now I'm like, what am I going to do? My BMW was all busted up and wasn't working. And so what I did was probably the dumbest thing I could have ever done. But let me tell you the power tool. I went out and bought an Audi A6. It was pre-owned. But that Audi gave me power. Because when I got into that car and I started driving it, it motivated me to go meet new clients. It motivated me to get newer engagements. It made me feel more powerful that I could pick up the phone and call people I hadn't spoken to in years and say, hey, let's have lunch. Let's talk business. And those meetings leapfrogged into what became a great career that I now have. Right? Now, you could say that sounds like that's crazy, but it was a power tool. And of course, I dressed nice in my suit. And I had the confidence as a result of that. But that car was a power tool at that time in my life. And so I really want you to think about this concept of power tools because it's so important. Just so you know, this live right now as we talk is being sponsored by the Mindforce Maximizer, Quantum Maximizer. And the Quantum Maximizer is a program I put together a couple years ago that's really designed to get you power. In fact, when you get access to this particular program, and believe me, it's not expensive, and it would be the best thing you could do. It's a power tool. There's a program in there called the Powerful Man and the Powerful Woman. And what I did, I created this program for some clients. And essentially what I did was I took an affirmation set, a subliminal hypnotic self-talk, and I created it. And then I broke it down sentence by sentence as to what the power was in there. It is one of the most in-depth programs where you can understand how your mind works and thinks, and how when you say things, powerful things happen. I would encourage you to get a hold of the Powerful Man. When you sign up for the Quantum Maximizer, you get the Powerful Man. I took it off the market probably for like almost 10 years because I only was teaching that to my coaching clients, but I decided to bring it back on. So anyway, that's who sponsors this particular session. If you want to find out about the Quantum Maximizer, just put in the comments, let's see, Quantum Maximizer, QM, just put in QM, and I will send you a link and all the information about it. You'll love it. Like I said, it's not going to break your bank by any stretch of the imagination, but you will love the program, and it'll change your life. Now, when I say it'll change your life, a lot of times people say, oh yeah, I hear that all the time. But you know what? You know what it comes down to? It comes down to information, right? And then implementation. So yeah, I can give you information. I can provide the information for you. But if you don't implement the information, even what we've talked about today, then it doesn't do you any good. So take notes, but implement. If there's one, and you're going to hear me say this over and over again every week that we do this, is the implementation, the flight time. It's the most critical thing when it comes to being powerful. Who wants to talk about control? Who wants to talk about control? I'm going to give you 4 surprising ways to get more control in your life. To be able to take charge, right? These are the 4 unexpected methods. And I don't know if I've ever taught these before, but control is where, like power, you have a confidence that you are in control of the situation, of yourself, of whatever's going on. And this is a great tool to have when you're obviously seeking power, seeking control. That's why I always call, when I train people, I always say, I'm going to teach you to be a controller. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be controlling people, although that's part of it, because I'm teaching hypnotic influence, social dynamics, covert persuasion, all of these things I've been teaching for well over 20 years. So the first thing is this: mindfulness and meditation. And really this, the benefits of mindfulness and meditation for mental clarity and control is one of the top skills that you could ever do. Now, when I say mindfulness, let's call it something else. Let's call it thinking time. Thinking time and meditation, which means you sit in a room or you sit outside, you go to the beach, you go to the park, you go to the woods, you go wherever, you take a walk around your city block and you think. And that's somewhat of a meditation, but you also do a meditation where you're relaxing the body down, relaxing the body down, relaxing the mind down, relaxing the spirit down, and getting yourself into a state of placidness, right? A lake that's just nothing, not waves, just calm and relaxed. I call it the calm and relaxed mindset. That's number one. Number two, and maybe I should be writing these down for you, right? That would make sense. You like my studio, the way I've got my pad set up here and I can write? If you ever want to learn how to set something like this up for your marketing team, your sales team, I'll show you how I set these studios up, and you'll be amazed at what you can do, right? But so first one is we're just going to call this meditation. But number two is decluttering your space, right? Your office, your garage, your bedroom. And I mean, my office is pretty clean, but I can always declutter it, right? You declutter your space. Now, how does this give you control? Because you have to make a conscious decision to do it, and don't avoid it. Make the decision and do it. You declutter. You go into your garage and you clean it up. Clean your car. I tell you what, if you have a dirty car, that's the worst thing in the world. I don't care what kind of car you have. I don't care if you have a 1980 car and it's barely running. Keep that thing clean. I see people that have great cars that they look like a mess. You go inside and it's like, oh my God, I don't want to sit down. There's dirt and there's candy bars. And declutter your space. Clean your office. Clean your bedroom. Make your bed. This gives you control. Simple things that give you control, because what happens a lot of time is when you don't do this, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I should do that. I should clean my desk. I should clean the garage. I should clean my car out. And what it does is it creates a lack of control because you feel like you're out of control. Number three, time blocking. This is the one nobody ever wants to hear about. But time blocking is all about managing your time. And when you manage your time, you're in control. Most people that can't control their time are totally out of control. They're running late constantly. I always get there 5 minutes early. As you notice, I started early tonight because I always start early. I'm always there on time unless something, catastrophic happened or something really was off track. I'm always there early. I'm always there on time because I block out the time and I see it as important, regardless of whether it's a business function, personal function. Now, I've showed up late to places intentionally because I wanted to be late, but that's still a time block because I've consciously thought about it and said, I'm going to be fashionably late. I'm going to be late a half an hour because I want to be. But you have to block your time. You look at your week and you decide what's important and what's secondary, third, fourth, and then you time and you block out your time. Some of the best executives that I've coached, I taught this concept of time blocking to them to the extreme, where I said you only have time for 15-minute meetings. 15-minute meetings. That means if you meet your vice president, it's 15 minutes. If you meet with your HR person about some issue, it's 15 minutes. And that's it. And you stick to it. What that does is it cuts down on the nonsense, right? Hey, how was your golf game this weekend? Hey, what'd you do this weekend? What, hey, weather's great. Weather's terrible. It's cold out. It's hot out, right? You get right to business, 15 minutes. Let's do it. I can get a lot done in 15 minutes. You want to make it 20 minutes? Make it 20 minutes. But you want to time block your schedule. And if you're an executive, you're a management personnel, you stick to that time frame. When I work with salespeople or sales teams, I do what I call Mojo Monday, 8:30 a.m. And I do a Friday Fuel Up, 8:30 a.m. And at 8:30 a.m., I start. I don't start at 8:30 a.m. and say, hey, we're going to get started in a few minutes. I know a couple people are dragging in late and, we're just going to wait for them. I never do that. We start at 8:30. That's it. Period. And at 8:30, I start doing roll call. And we get started immediately. 8:30, Mojo Monday, 8:30 Friday, Fuel Up. Add this into your repertoire and it'll make sense. Don't give people an off because you're going to say, you know how people are, it's Monday morning and they're running a little bit. No, we start at 8:30. We start at 8:30. That's it. If you're going to be late, you're going to be late, but it's not going to mess up my cadence. I'm getting started at 8:30. Now I may talk to you afterwards and say, why didn't you come at 8:30? Is there a reason why you couldn't make it to 8:30? Right? Makes sense. And then number 4 is saying no. Saying no gives you an incredible amount of control. We are people pleasers for the most part. And so when somebody asks us to do something, we feel compelled to want to accommodate them. But by saying no, what this does is this puts you in a control position where you're controlling your time. It comes back to that time issue, but it also comes back to the control. And just say, hey, I appreciate you asking me that, but I can't do that right now. And you don't even have to have a reason. Just say, I can't do that right now. That's not going to work with my game plan. I can't do it. Sorry. And then that's it. You don't have to make a big excuse. You don't have to say because I'm doing this. No. Just no, I can't do it. But I appreciate you asking. Have you thought about transferring that to George, Mary, Paulette, whomever? That's the way it goes. Learn to say no. So many people are yes people. Oh yeah, I can do that. I can. And what happens a lot of times when they say yes is they either don't even do it, or they do it in a half-assed way, or they do it in a way that's begrudging because they feel guilty that they said yes, but they feel guilty that they can't get out of it, but they also feel terrible that they're taking their time to do this thing. Again, that pulls down the control. So understand that control, you have, and of course there's so many more points than these 4, but I wanted to give you a snapshot of what that could look like for you. Meditation gives you that control. Decluttering your space, making your bed, getting yourself organized. Doesn't take that much time, a little bit every day. Time blocking. Take a look at your daily schedule, your weekly schedule, and say, what can I eliminate? Can I go into a 15 or 20-minute meeting segment and say, boom, this is it? Now, a lot of times we automatically set up 30 minutes. 30 minutes is like a default, right? But you can set a 15-minute default. because it'll make you that much more productive because you get right to it. Is there anything else we need to discuss? You go through what's important, and then if you need to extend it, obviously you could, but if you can get concise and go into those 15-minute increments instead of, let's say, 30 minutes, you're going to accomplish so much more, and you're going to have more time to meditate and think about what's going on, especially if you're an executive, an entrepreneur, somebody of value. Everyone's of value. And that is definitely something that you can do in order to gain control. Let's talk about love. That's a weird topic, right? Love. What is that? What has gotten into Al that he's talking about love? Well, if you've been on any of my workshops, you'll notice that I talk about the power of love. Now, we just talked, we talk about power, control, hypnotic influence, and now we talk about love. I say stop. You're using your love energy wrong. How can we correct that? What is love energy anyway? Some of you guys listening to this are like, come on, man. Get on with it. What is with this love talk? Well, let's put it this way. Love is the most powerful energy in the world. It is. It supersedes all the hate. It supersedes all of the bitterness that's in the world, that's among people. And if you can learn how to take that heart energy and expand it, expand that love energy out, and start to really love people and send that love out, it's going to start changing the world. If everyone in the world started to love more, we wouldn't have all the negativity and issues that we have in this world, the wars and all the other crazy stuff that's going on. And it comes down to self-love. A lot of times people can't do that because they don't love themselves. You have to love yourself. And if you're one of those people, you need to look in the mirror and say, I love myself. I love you. I love you, Al. I love you. And again, some of you guys that are watching this, you're thinking, that's not for me, but it is for you. It's more for you than for others. But let me talk about some of the, like I said, some of the pitfalls. Stop, you're using your love energy wrong, is overextending love energy to others while neglecting yourself. Sometimes you can love other people more than you love yourself. And that's where you've got to be able to set a parameter on what that is. And also you have to stop misinterpreting a love energy as approval seeking or people pleasing. I don't do that. I send the love out and I detach from it. And so I'm going to give you my love. I'm going to give you that energy, and then I'm going to detach from it. I'm not going to hang into that, because you're going to take that love energy and you're going to do with it what you want. And see, that's the power of this love energy. It's really important to love. And think about it from your perspective, wherever you're at in life. Your life would be better if you loved more. You want to send out the love and then detach. And always have a thought in your mind that you're sending out this love energy. You're going to an appointment to meet a big client, you send them love. You send them that love. It's going to make them feel good. People will do things when they feel good. And so when you cause somebody to feel good by sending that love, they're going to feel better. They're more inclined to do business with you. Plus, when they feel that love energy, they know that you're the person that can possibly assist them in their situation. Think about your relationships. Your husband, your wife, your kids, relatives, brothers, sisters, friends. You can love them more. But it's not a love of, I love you, you love me back. It's not the way it works. I mean, there's going to be some people that you send the love to, and they may rebuke it, but that's okay, because you're sending the love to them. You're giving it freely with no expectation of the love coming back because you've detached. So, give you an idea, right? You give the love from your heart and then you detach from it. So if you sent the love to somebody, you detach from it because you've already sent it to that person. You detach from it and you let them have it. It's fine. Now, they may give the love back to you. They may not, but that's not your issue. But here's the thing is that if you do this enough, you're going to get the love back because they're going to feel that love energy. And it's contagious. And if you're always loving to somebody, now let me explain something. This love is different than a love that's manipulative or a love that is designed to manipulate somebody in a way that causes them to want to do things for you and causes them to want to be with you. That's not this at all. This has nothing to do with that. This is a love energy where you send it and then you detach from it. So you're not looking to manipulate with it. You're not looking to say, hey, I'm going to send love to this person and they're going to then want to do things for me. Now, when you detach, you still have an expectation of receiving love back. You just don't know where it's going to come from. But you know that it's going to generate and you're going to feel it from your kids and your spouse and so forth. But you send that love energy out. I want you to really think about this because this is a catalyst for your personal growth and achievement, right? So if this is you and your heart is, this big, you want to just start expanding that love energy. Actually, you know what? We probably want to use different color, right? How about this color? This is kind of a love color, right? Red. And you just expand that love energy out to where it's just totally expanding. Totally expanding. And again, I know some of you are saying, this is the craziest thing to hear. But when you understand how all these energies work, now you could do the same thing with hatred, which many people do. Obviously, you see what's going on in the world. It comes down to hate because their hearts are too hard. But if they could learn to love unconditionally, the way you can love unconditionally is when you don't expect anything coming back. You love that person. And if they don't send it back, again, you're detaching. This is such an important concept. It's something I could do an entire seminar on because it's so valid and valuable. And it's real. It works. Most people will cut the love off because they want to do it. They do it intentionally. But see, when you expand, you open up your heart and you just expand it out. You can even feel that, can't you? You can feel that energy just cascading all over you, that love energy. And when you feel that, it causes you to feel excellent, right? And it gives you an awareness of that there's more out there than maybe just one way of thinking. And again, you want to be able to use that love energy for every aspect of your life, no matter what. I mean, first thing I do when I sit down with somebody, if they're having some kind of, relationship issues, is I say, have you been sending love to your spouse, your partner, your whatever the issue is? And they always say, no, we just don't get along anymore. I said, I want you to send out love energy to them. I just want you to imagine this love just cascading out all over them and it's coming from you. And I want you to just cut it off, detach from it, go back to what you were doing with no expectation that they're going to give it back or not, but in the back of your mind that if you love them even more, they will start to love you because that's a pure love. not a manipulation love like, oh, I'll love you so you can love me back, and I'll love you by giving you something, maybe money or gifts or something, and that's a way that I show you how much I love you, and you go, okay, that's love. No, that's not love. That's giving somebody something. Love is gratitude. Love is a feeling. It's taking that heart energy and expanding it out. Now, that part of that love could be giving somebody something, but again, you detach from it. You see, I give this to you because I love you, but I don't just give it to you just because I love you. I'm giving it to you because I want to give it to you, but the love is totally a different scenario. This is not the love, this item, this Mercedes-Benz, this gold chain, this set of pearl earrings. That's not the love. It's what's attached to that that's the love. See that power there? I want you to really think about this. Spend some thinking time. Think about how much you're loving in your relationships, your work, your business, job, your family, relationships, people you don't even know. I mean, you run into people. Do you have a loving attitude, or do you have an attitude of being a rotten sucker? Think about that. Sit down and really contemplate it and say, well, how much better would my life be if I just loved more people and sent that energy out? Now, I teach, obviously, classes where I teach you exactly how to use your actual energy to use this love energy. And it's very profound. I can't teach everything in this short video, but the fact of the matter is, you can conceptualize this fact of this energy cascading out from your heart to others and spreading that love everywhere. I hope that you got something out of this. I know it's probably a little bit along the lines of esoteric, especially for you people that are in business, or you're like I said, an executive, or you're an entrepreneur, and you're like, hey, this guy's supposed to be a coach that's helps people get to where they want to go. Yeah, of course, because it's the love that is the binder where I can help people, because I love them. And I say to people, I love you. I'm going to help you get to where you want to go. It's not a fake love like, hey man, I love you. It's a real love that I do really want to assist you. Now, if you decide not to want to be assisted, that's totally out of my control, because I've detached from it. You see, I can give that love away all day long. And you can too, and you'll get the results that I'm getting and others are getting. I enjoyed sharing this information. I hope you enjoyed experiencing it as well. And until next time, have a fantastic day. So long.